All right, greetings, scholars. Welcome. I'm assuming that people are able to get in. You guys are here, so that's awesome. I think we finally got to the bottom of the rooms. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is ready for the day, and let's get started. So, it's no major announcements. Just kind of keep, submitting your assignments on My Open Math and get your attendance credit by getting into this call like you've done already. And that's the meat and potatoes of what I need really from you all. As long as you're maximizing your scores on My Open Math and you're getting support. If you're in need of support, you just have to ask. I know that there was a group me. I think you guys started a group me, right? Something where you guys are just communicating, right? And if you need help, just ask for help. I want to say that Morris Brown should have tutors available, right? It should be included in your tuition where you shouldn't have to pay extra for tutoring, because you've paid enough. You just need to get help. Um, Also, it's a good idea to make use of my office hours, right? So like that's if you want my input, right? So my rhythm and style and explanation is pretty much the same way I do it in class. Um, but I acknowledge that my energy can be overbearing for students. So I just do what I can on my end to try to encourage you all and make myself available. I do the best that I can with things here and there. As usual, if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself to get my attention or type in the chat. I am monitoring the chat. And honestly, the goal for today is really just one section. Let me see. I think if I go like this, and then if I go like this, yes, right? So we really just need to get through this one section. So then after this section, we have a choice of either at least doing the next section, or we can work some homework questions or anything that's on My Open Math. So like if you have a question on anything that's on My Open Math, like if you have access to it, we can talk about it, right? Anything that's on My Open Math, right? We can work on it together. But let's handle business. Let's do what we came here to do and get to this. And this will serve as our official recordings. The recordings have been going nice. I've been liking them as far as the quality. Last week, I totally forgot to hit record. I am recording this time. Let me make sure. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. 'Cause that was so annoying. I was like, oh man, I was so excited. Last time we finished the presentation, I was like, oh, that was a good one. Then, like, we had like 5 minutes left on the clock, and then one of the students started recording, and I was like, crap, I forgot to record. But that happens with these kind of things. So you just have to woosah, take a deep breath, and I just sucked it up and went on and made the recording right then and there. I let you guys go, and I just went on and made the recording there. So we are here now. I'll be updating. Let me see as far as attendance and grades. If I don't update attendance today, it'll definitely be by like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Grades, I usually like to do those like Wednesday or Thursday, because a lot of times we have assignments due on Tuesday, and like I just updated grades, so I want to give you all through the weekend, allow things to be due, and then I'm trying to wait until after the due date. So as long as you've submitted your assignments on My Open Math, then the grade will get in there. Again, I usually update my grades on Wednesdays and Thursdays. All right, somewhere in that range, somewhere right about there. Okay. All right, I can't think of anything else, so let's at least get through this section. So we are continuing chapter 8 in our Blitzer Thinking Mathematically 7th edition, centered around personal finance, okay? And so this section is over section 8.3, simple interest. A couple of objectives. 1, calculate simple interest. 2, use the future value formula. Some that you guys are able to get in. Guys are waiting in the lobby. Yeah, I'm not gonna fool with that because I think you guys can get in. I don't think there's an issue there. You should be able to. Let me see. I told myself I was not going to. In the meeting, I think we're good. Okay. So simple interest. Interest is the dollar amount that we get paid for lending money or pay for borrowing money. The amount of money that we deposit or borrow is called the principal. The amount of interest depends on the principal. The interest rate, which is given as a percent and varies from bank to bank, and the length of time for which the money is deposited. Oh, the interest depends on the principal, the interest rate, and which is given as a percent and varies from bank to bank, and the length of time for which the money is deposited. Simple interest involves interest calculated only on the principal. Okay. Yeah, we should probably just go ahead and do the next section after this. Simple interest. To calculate simple interest, interest equals PRT, right? So this is the lowest form of interest that we have. This is called simple interest, and just I equals PRT. P is the principal, R is the rate, T is the time. The rate R is expressed as a decimal. Usually it's given as a percent, and then we basically convert it into a decimal. And the time is usually in years, right? And principal is the amount that we're depositing into the account. So we deposit $2,000 into a savings account at Hometown Bank, which has a rate of 6%. I wish I could find a bank that had that rate. Find the interest at the end of the first year. Okay. So before I do this, I do want to kind of share a story. When I was a student at Morehouse, I was attending some honor program. I don't know if I shared this with you all or not, so I'm just going to share it now because it's around this topic. But at this honor program, they were doing a fundraiser, and the fundraiser was called the Infinite Scholarship. I was like, Infinite Scholarship? It's like, what is that? So their goal was to raise $1 million, and I think at that time they had access to an interest-bearing account that had at least 5%. All right. So let's just crunch the numbers of that. All right. Let's crunch the numbers. It's basically the same thing. This is why I'm bringing up this story. So the Infinite Scholarship. All right. So again, their goal, they were trying to raise $1 million, and they had an interest-bearing account they had an account that had an interest rate of 5%. Right. So say the time is 1 year. How much money is it? Then if we consider the lowest form of interest, what's the interest earned on this account after 1 year, right? So if we use I equals PRT, right? I'm kind of running out of space a little bit. I'm just going to move this over here. Okay. So the interest on that account is going to be what? So the $1 million, the rate, 5% as a decimal. So you can look at the percent symbol as 1/100. So if we say, excuse me, sorry. God bless me. If we say 5 divided by 100, right, we get 0.05, and then the time is 1 year. All right. So 5% of $1 million. Hey Google, what's 5% of 1 million?
50,000.
All right. So we have what? 6 zeros. If we just move the decimal to the right 6 times, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 50,000. Right. So what this means is that with an account that has a 5% interest rate, if you were to deposit $1 million, the lowest form of interest that you can earn with that setup will be $50,000 a year. That's about $3,000 or $4,000 a month, right? At today's standards. So that's more than enough to live in a reasonable, a reasonable lifestyle. So what that means is that, like, if you only touch the interest and never touch the principal, you will be guaranteed, as long as that account is open and active and everything is clicking, you will be guaranteed about $3,000 or $4,000 every month until the account closes. All right. So that was the setup there for the Infinite Scholarship, and it's basically like the same thing that we have here. Let me duplicate this page. Copy. Oh, you can do it. I believe in you. It likes to take a sweet time. Come on. There it is, finally. Okay, cool. And then I want to clear. Cool. And we'll just work with this. Okay. So that was the Infinite Scholarship, right? That was their goal. I've known people. I'm pretty sure I've spent $1 million. I haven't had it all at once. I've known people that's thrown that kind of money around. I don't know if they were aware of, compound interest. But when you get into those levels, when you start coupling that amount of money with things like compound interest, then you have money forever, right? As opposed to like people that win the lottery, they're not aware of this kind of stuff. Then in a couple of years, the money's gone, right? So you never know, who you're in the presence of, who you're talking to, so you always like give people the benefit of the doubt. I know that like when I figure all this stuff out, I'm not gonna really change much, you know. I don't really plan to flaunt it. I'm not the type to flaunt it to show it. Like I'll just have it and it'll just be chilling and I'll just be doing whatever and like nobody will be the wiser. Like that's just more my style. I don't want to put a target on my back. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. Give me just a moment. 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and do this one. Um, all right. So find the interest. So the simple interest, I equals PRT. All right. So the interest is going to be the principal, which is 2,000. The rate is 6% as a decimal. That's going to be 0.06. And the end of the first year, so the time is 1 year. Okay, give me just a moment. Cool, that works for me. Looks good. Share. Oh, where are these guys? Just copy. There I'm coming, guys. Paste. And okay, cool beans. Okay. All right. So we just crunched that number. Okay. So let me see. 6 times 2 is a 12, right? That would cause it to move right by 3 and then back by 2. So I think we just add 1 0. If we go right, let me see, right 3 and left 2, we only have 1 0. All right, $120. Is that right? Let's think about that, right? 10% would be $200. 5% would be 100. So $120 is a reasonable result, right? So, as a quick calculations, 10% is easy to do. You just move the decimal to the left by 1, right? So then once you have a sense of 10%, then you can do 5%, you can do 1%. You guys okay? Go like this. Where is the class going? It's going to be here. You all mute. I think we Gucci. Okay. Cool beans. All right. All right. So $120. Let's go with that. So more than likely, because this section is so short and sweet, I'll probably just go ahead and do the next section. I think that's more my mood. Okay. Oh. View, seamless, view, single. Cool. Okay. Find the interest at the end of the first year. Yeah, $120. You see it there. At the end of the first year, the interest is $120. Okay. A student took out a simple interest loan for $1,800 for 2 years at a rate of 8% to purchase a used car. Find the interest on the loan. Okay. Now, the way my mind works, you know, it goes like this. Okay. If he takes out this loan, he gets this car. You know, we're doing a calculation for the interest. I'm like, okay, how much does it cost him every month to keep that car, right? So then it's like you have the cost that it keeps you have what it costs to own the car on a monthly basis, but then you could take that car and you want to make sure that it qualifies before you purchase it, but and then there's some other stuff. It's not this simple, but you could put it on something like hire car or Turo or something like that, where you can basically rent out your car. Now I tried it and it was working well for like a month or so, but then I guess my car was too confusing for my client and they kind of like ruined it. They didn't know how to drive it, so they messed up the transmission. So I was gonna fix it myself, but my mom was like, no. She was like, no. I was like, because I'm the type, she doesn't understand that, like, I'm the type to figure stuff out. Like I'll just take my time, do my research, and figure it out. Right. Like repairs. There's so many things I've done where I've never done it before. Like, and there's always a first time for everything, right? So, but it was kind of working. I think that if I were to do it again, just get a car that's like more simple to drive, so that you reduce the risk of that. And like it had insurance, but I guess that wasn't covered. Insurance is like the biggest scam. I was like, maybe I should start an insurance company. But because it's like you're forced to buy it, but then they go out of their way to not pay, when it's supposed to. So, but it was still kind of interesting because basically my car was my employee, right? So, I think about how much it costs to own the vehicle on a monthly basis, and then how much can it generate while it's out working. I'm off doing other things. But then if you can do that with a vehicle, what other things can you do that technique with? Where it can make money for you while you're doing other things. That's why it's like I feel like property ownership is a high value, is a good move. Like that's where I'm trying to go. Get my hands on as many properties, rental properties. I intend to put them on like Airbnb. Again, I'm no financial guru. You definitely need to do your own research and like ask around and dig a bit, but you know, it was just interesting. Like, okay, it cost me this much to own this vehicle. This vehicle I know can earn this much. So then as long as I kind of like work my numbers right, it basically pays for itself. But, there's some other risk involved there, right? So back to this one. A student took out a simple interest loan for 1800 for 2 years at this rate. Find the interest on the loan. Okay. Simple interest, right? So one of my mentors would say every time you use a formula, write it down, right? So I equals PRT. That constant repetition of writing it ingrains it in your memory, and that's how you learn it, right? Whatever we do the longest, we do the strongest. Whatever we practice, we get really good at, right? Okay. So we're trying to solve for I. We were asked to find the interest. The principal was at 1800. The rate, ooh, that's kind of high, 8%, 0.08. And the time, I think it's 2 years. Okay. Hmm. So what is that? 36 times 8. 8 times 3 is 240. 240 plus, what did I say that was? 36 times 8. So 240 plus 24. 264. Okay, let me see. 264. I got to think about my decimals here. Maybe that's it. If I did 10% is 180. So 20. If you do it twice, a little over. Okay, let me just use my calculator. Hey Google, what's 1800 times 0.08 times 2?
1800 times 0.08 times 2 is 288.
88, okay. Missed something somewhere. 40, 36. 240 plus. Oh, okay, I see. 36. So 6 times 8 is 48. Yeah, that's where I was missing it. Okay. I think I said 288. I was like, why couldn't I get that number to work? So this is my weekend. So I'm like, every time the weekend comes, I'm not even really here. I'm thinking about, okay, what am I going to do this weekend? Right. I'm not even really here. Okay. That looks good. 288, right? Okay. So future value, principal plus interest. So the future value A of P dollars at simple interest rate R as a decimal for T years is given by this. P is also known as the loan's present value. Okay. Let's see, is that right? PRT. Okay. After X amount of years, so the principal plus the interest earned every year. That makes sense. This is basically like the future amount. So you have your starting amount plus the interest earned each year, right? So it's basically your principal plus your interest equals your future amount, right? That's where this is coming from. Okay, that's fine. So a loan of this has been made at 6.5% for 3 months. Find the loan's future value. Okay. So on the previous slide, we just said what? The future value is going to be P times 1 plus RT. Now usually time is in years, right? So let's list out the different parts that we have. The principal is what? 1060. Okay. The rate as a decimal, 6.5% is going to be 0.065. Okay. Now 3 months, we need to convert that to years. Okay. We're going to put it over 1. So then to do the conversion, how many months in a year? It's going to be what? 12 months corresponds to 1 year, right? So the trick here is because I have my months on top, when I do my conversion, months need to be on the bottom. So that way the units cancel and we're left with the units of years. So then 3 divided by 12 is a quarter, or 0.25 years. Okay. So then the future amount is going to be, it should be 1060 times 1 plus 0.065 times a quarter of a year. Let's see, I'm going to go here. This one. Let's minimize this. Let's move you up. Nope, come back. Go here. Just like that. Thank you. It's clear. Okay, this is fine. So we're going to say 1060. I don't know, I got a frog. I cannot get it out. 0.065 times 0.25. Close off our parentheses. I think that's good. Okay. Since we're going to round after 3 months, 1077 was that 0.23. Give me just a moment. Paste. $1077.23. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. So let's look at this example on determining a simple interest rate. You borrow $2,500 from a friend and promise to pay back $2,655 in 6 months. What simple interest will you pay? Think about this. I guess we want to do future value? Okay. So let's do future value like we did before. Let's see if that works. So then let me see. P times 1 plus RT, right? So we borrow this. Oh, we don't have to do all that, right? We borrowed $2,500 from a friend and we pay back $2,655 in 6 months. So then it's just a difference, right? $155. Is that it? Yeah, that looks like that's all it is. We pay because we paid more than what we borrowed, so $155. Let's see. Solution, substitute, principal. Oh, are we trying to find the rate? Oh, they didn't say the rate. They just said okay. Okay, let's confirm that rate then. It says what interest are you paying? Okay, let's well we see the result there, but let's find the rate. Let me make sure we're using the right one. Yeah, we're good. I didn't realize they wanted to rate. Yeah, it should say rate here. What interest rate will you pay? Okay, so basically we're solving for R. Okay, so I'm going to actually move things around a little bit. So we started with what? 2,500? 1 plus the rate is what we're trying to solve for. If it's 6 months in a year is half a year. So 0.5 times R. And the future amount is going to be 2655. Right? So we're solving for R. Okay. I feel like let's actually divide both sides by 2,500 first. I was going to do something else, but this seems like it might be more simple. 2,500 on both sides. All right. So these cancel. On the left, we have this 1 plus 0.5R. Right now, I'm just going to leave that as 2655 over 2,500. So then we'll get 0.5R equals that number minus 1. All right, subtracting 1 on both sides. I'm kind of running out of space a little bit here. I'll continue over here. So that's a half of R. So then to get rid of the half, we multiply both sides by 2. So then R is going to be 2 times that result. Let me make some space for myself. So it should be 2 times that 2655 over 2,500 minus 1. All right, let's use our calculator. So then 2 times, we got 2655 divided by 2,500 minus 1, close parentheses. And then, yeah, so 12.4%. That's correct. Okay. That took about 30 minutes with my distractions and stalling. All right. So it's fairly high, but that's okay. Okay.